we've got 15 minutes, then the Barbars have to come in, and then we'll bring in Neertland, Fushia, and what was our other player? I'll find out now. Anyway, 15 minutes with them, and then we'll come in later for the next song. English first, and then Afrikaans at the end. Hands up, please, guys. Nathan?
Firstly, guys, congratulations for the win. Rassie, obviously it was really with the outfit, but just give us your recap of the game.
Well, we know the Barbarians, they were put together, and they obviously trained the whole week, if they did train in the rain, and then today they ran all the time, but so glad for the win. There's lots for us to work on, but to keep them only to 7 points, and we're getting to the score where we got to, we're fairly happy. Didn't get a lot of injuries. Some guys got some heat-outs today which haven't played for a while, and some guys who doesn't have a lot of caps played. And we're just glad we got through it, and we understand that for them this is probably the worst conditions for a Barbarian team to play like this here, but still we had to keep some structure. So overall, I guess satisfying, but it was just a good hit-out. Now the test match starts next week.
Rassie, congratulations. Also, just on your captain, Jesse came in late as captain to replace Sia. Just your thoughts on how he went and also the characteristics you bring as a captain to the team.
I think he's always, he's always the guy that anyway is the captain on our defensive side of things, which is 50% of the game mostly, normally. And I mean, it's not a difficult choice. If Jesse is captain or not captain, he contributes the same amount. Today Jesse had to discuss some stuff with the referee during the game. But I'm proud of him, and I'm glad for him that he has that under his belt now. I know it's not a test match, but it's we know he's a student of the game, and today he wasn't just captain on defense, he was on both sides of the ball, and obviously communication with the referee, and we knew he would do a good job.
Rassie, is good to Yaka getting through 70 minutes one of the big positives for you as a takeaway from the game?
Yeah, I think what he went through with his sort of condition that he had which almost was career-ending for him. When we did the fitness testing about 3 weeks ago, not medical fitness test, but fitness test, he was exceptional, because we could just see, his body might be about 32 or 33, but he got some 2 or 3 years rest in the last couple of years, and I think that showed. I also thought John Klein really went deep into the game really well. And we actually picked a very heavy pack of forwards. If you take Jean-Luc and you take Vincent and you take Louis and you take John Klein and Asa and Malcolm and Ox, it's a heavy pack. So we were a bit nervous in this, the weather played with. But no, Louis is experienced, he's got a cool head, he's a student of the game. He was vice captain actually today. We're very glad that he came through it. We've got some nice depth at lock, young and older guys, so we are very, very glad that he played the way he did.
Rassie, congratulations. Is the under 8,000 move something you look at more often, or was that a situational?
No. I mean, I guess it's out there now. We don't have to. You can have 2 ways of looking at it. You can have a 5-3 split or a 6-2 split and Kwacha covering for your wing, and we're just doing it the other way around now, where I don't know if you can call him a hybrid or whatever you can call him, but he's a backline player, he can also play in the forwards now, where we always had a guy like Kwacha or Peter Steff who's a forward who will probably, if we got an injury, cover a wing in certain aspects of the game. If we do get 3 backline injuries, and a guy like Andre just gives us the option now, because he's been training with both the forwards and the back. I must say Felix handles it really well in terms of his load, how much he does with the forwards and how much he does with the backs. Obviously, he was part of scrumming sessions now. We've been doing it for a couple of, we've been chatting to him, I think 4 or 5 months ago, and make sure that he's a backline player who can also play forward, where Kwacha is a forward player who can also play backline. So, but I guess can't just bank on a guy like that, 1 injury, and that goes out the window if he does get an injury. But at this stage, it's very nice to have.
Rassie, obviously a lot of players raise their hands, but once we head with a guy like Vincent, what the difference came between.
Yeah, if you look at the guys that we played against, I mean, Peter Manny and Sam Kane and the other loose forwards, they're not boys, you know, they experienced, and for Vincent to come up against them and play the way he did, I thought JL also played really well. Bokke was, I thought, excellent when he came on. But you know, Marco with the late withdrawal from Sia, so Vincent was good. But I think the whole pack was overall pretty okay in this weather. You need the pack to dominate a little bit. But we also understand that there won't be a lot of cohesion in the way, you know, Sam Cane wouldn't have played a lot with Peter Romani, you know, so it was good, but we're also staying very realistic about the position or the circumstances, but we're happy with the way it performed.
Jesse, you must be pleased with how the attack went, considering the conditions. Some really nice touches, passes, grabs through. I know some balls were spoiled because of the weather, but still some good combinations there, and also the wings getting some ground out wide.
Yeah, I think obviously very happy with all of that. I think it actually started in the week on Wednesday. We spoke about just our mindset and mentality going into training and whether we're going to let the weather affect us or not. And I think it was nothing different today. I think we came in here positive. We wanted to be brave and bold with the ball in hand. And I think we looked dangerous with turnover ball. And I think it's always great when you get the ball into guys like Rassie, Cheslin and Kirky's hands. They're special rugby players and they can make something out of nothing. And I think, yeah, we saw a lot of that today.
So Rassie, great start to the season. What else can South Africans expect going forward?
Well, we you know, Italy gave Namibia. I know Namibia is not one of the tier 1 nations. You know, they gave them 70 points, and we saw how well they played in the first 2 test matches in the 6 nations. You know, I guess sometimes squad depth is a bit tough for them because they only really have two clubs to pick from. So we won't get carried away with a game like this. You know, it's a festival game, and we're playing at home for a team that only practiced a few times together. But certain things came through. We want to get better. I guess this match and the next 3 matches that we play, we're trying to focus a lot on us. Because when we hit rugby champion Georgia, will also be a grind. Yeah, so I guess we want to get better. You know, the weather was more dry. I think some of the line breaks and half caps that we got, we were a bit ambitious trying to offload and just force the last pass. In a dry weather, I think that could have stuck. But after half-time, when the guys spoke about that, they toned it down a little bit and we played a little bit more conservative and got more points. So I guess we'll get used to this weather if we get that again. But we can't wait to play on a dry pitch and still improve on our attack.
Rassie, how many guys would have swayed your mind tonight? Was there possibility for them looking at the first test against Italy, or I know you guys picked internally on a Sunday, and that's tomorrow for the next week, but was there possibility for some guys to play themselves into that first test?
I guess the guys will know tomorrow night who's playing Italy 1 and 2, you know. They've got a fairly good idea already. The guys who played Barbarians knew 2 weeks ago already that the guys who's playing the Barbarians, we actually internally announced that 2 weeks ago, so they had 2 weeks of training together. Tomorrow night we'll internally announce Italy 1 and 2. That's always a little bit of a, if I know the English word, how to pronounce it correct, there's a bit of a caveat, is that right? That if things doesn't go according to plan, Italy 2 can always change, but we do know who's the core of guys, you know, the 14, 15, 16, not the positions. We know definitely who's in the mix for Italy 1, and tomorrow night we'll share with the guys. So we won't get carried away with this performance because we have to take into account that the other guys, I know I've said this a few times, but you know, yeah, certainly some guys showed us that they can do it at this level, but we'll layer them in to make sure there's a balance. I think guys like Damien, Jesse, Kirtley, a bit undercooked because he got back. He hasn't really played in a lot of matches either in Japan or didn't come back to the Bulls. You know, he's definitely not 100% match fit, but this match would have meant a lot to him. So yeah, we'll try to strike the balance right that when we're done with Georgia, we've got a group of 45, 50 that got some game time.
Yes, just Rassie, another player that stood out as well, Asinati Tlabakani. A lot was spoken about him and his weight and the hands fall and all that, but today he really had a good game. Just another good replacement, you know, coming up for future as well.
No, definitely. You know, I think it was solid. I don't think he was outstanding, but he was definitely solid. I mean, I think twice you could see the little soft hands that he has. I think there definitely was a stage, 1 or 2 scrums there where we didn't dominate. But, you know, he did scrum against Kian Healy, and, you know, the hooker is a very experienced guy, and then, you know, the loose forward. So they didn't have a weak back, and he managed well. I think having Malcolm and Ox next team really helped, and obviously having 2 really heavy locks, and Lewitt and John Klein behind him helped a lot. But he's got a bit to go and a bit to learn, but definitely taste potential.
Okay, Afrikaans coach Justin.
Rassie, net 'n opsomming asseblief van die wedstryd en voel jy miskien dat jy dit nie julle doel het bereik het in terme van wat julle uitgesit het?
Ja, die eerste ding is ons wil graag met 'n wennoot begin het. Dit is net so moeilik soos dit vir hulle was in hierdie nat weer. Was dit maar vir ons om jy weet lynstaanballe te vat, om sy line break het, om die bal miskien te offload, en ek het gedink dat is op 'n bietjie meer expansive speel, maar obviously die weer het hulle baie beperk wat dit aanbetref. So overall niks ernstige beserings sien. Ek dink Jayal het net so 'n bietjie stamp in sy kop. You know, Sia sal volgende week 100% reg wees. So dit lyk of niemand 'n besering het wat hierdie game gekom het, so dis positief. Obviously om 50 punte te kry is positief in hierdie weer, en hulle net 7 punte te laat gee. Maar jy moet altyd maar 'n bietjie realiteite hou en appels met appels vergelyk. Volgende week is 'n toets. Maar hierdie dan vir ons 'n idee gegee oor 'n paar spelers wat ons so 80% seker maak, dus ons seker nou so 100% seker hulle kan toets rugby speel.
Rassie, ek het nou genoeg van Sia wat gaan rugby volgende week. Ek weet nie of ek het gemis hierdie week nie. Ver is Pieter Steef te toe.
Pieter Steef sal seker Italië 2 beskikbaar wees.
Rassie, jy moet seker tevrede wees met die aanvallende skopwerk. Jy weet as ek kyk na die eerste 2-3 hoe belangrik Rassie daarmee was en dan met die geskep het ook. So dit sê van my miskien beplan vir die wedstryd, dit is die tipe ding wat julle doen en ons meer kan verwag hierdie. Ja, Steven, ek dink, jy weet, in hierdie weer kan jy nie 'n klomp balle hardloop nie, en met die nuwe manier van skeieregters of hoe die reëls werk is om daai clear access te gee na die jumper. Ek dink selfs die skoppe wat ons gechase het was Cheslin skitterend en die vas het so 1 of 2 laat val waar hulle die bal teruggetap het. Maar ja, ek dink Tony en Stokke werk baie hard in die ouens se klein vaardighede met klein skoppies hier en daar. 'n Paar het nie afgekom nie, maar om in hierdie weer te ge-execute, dink ek kan ons tevrede wees. Hooplik in droë weer werk dit nog beter. En ek dink die balans tussen wanneer ons op hardloop, ek dink Manie het uitstekend gedoen toe hy opkom spasie te sien en ouens in spasie te sit. So ek dink ons is tevrede. Ja.
Rassie, wat was in jou gedagtes toe mense die nasionale lied sing en hulle dink dit gaan die 95 wêreldbeker?
Ek weet nie weet waar hulle dink toe ons sing het. Nee, ons die snaaks in die coachesbox kry nie so half 'n vibe nie. Jy voel nie lekker, dit is bietjie stil, dit is so amper half klanktig. Maar mens kon deur die mikrofoon hoor, ek weet nie, weer as 'n Bombella sit dan voel jy dit, want jy sit buite of op van die ander stadions. Maar ek wil net dankie sê vir die mense. Obviously ons is baie trots en wat die ouens in 95 gedoen het, en hulle het gedoen vir wat ons almal droom, en van daar af kon nou ons drome so 'n bietjie realiteit maak. So dis die mense daaraan gedink het. Ek moet eerlik vir jou sê, ek baie stadium sing hou en jy kyk wie warm reg op en wie se kop is reg in die game, en maar is om in hierdie weer uit te kom en in die reën te sit en daar te bly sit en saam met ons deur die game te gaan met die passie wat die mense hierso was. Ek weet daar's 'n paar goed waarvoor die mense nie baie tevrede was miskien was van die pryse bietjie duur van die kaartjies en so aan. Ons het nie beheer oor daai goeders nie, maar om teen 'n Barbarians span te speel en ek dink daar was oor die 40,000 mense. Party lande kry dit nie sommer reg met die tipe toeskouers nie. Veral as jy nie eers weet wie regtig in die Barbarians span gaan wees nie. So nee, ons is altyd trots op daai 95 span nie. Hulle het iets gedoen dat ons almal se drome so 'n bietjie meer realisties gemaak het.
Laaste vraag.
Rassie, ek wil graag weet of net bodies loop nou daar definitief lyk of hy baie selfvertroue vanaand geskop het. Ons altyd probeer as dit iets wat moet klik in sy skopwerk. saam met die spel wat hy speel. Is dit iets wat julle aan gewerk het die laaste paar weke in die Bokkamp, of is dit iets wat hy baie hard aan in die afseisoen gewerk het?
Nee, Tony het baie hard met hom gewerk. Gareth Wright het ons ook geshadow vir 'n week, wat hy 'n paar dae wat hy saam met ons was. Maar ek sê vir Tony, ek wil die krediet ek vir Manie gesê hy moet probeer miskop. En dan gaan die balle oor, nee, ek spot net. Nee, Manie is definitief, hy is op 'n goeie plek. Jy weet, Manie is 'n competitor, maar great span ou. Sasha, mens gaan mos maar deur dip. Sasha is mos nog 'n bietjie 'n jonger ou wat nog 'n bietjie 'n paar dinge moet leer. So is fantasties om Manie daar te hê wat vir Sasha help, om vir Tony daar te hê, om vir Andre daar te hê en vir Damien Willems. So ons is regtig bevoorreg met die loskakels wat ons het. En ek sien so 'n bietjie quite 'n goeie determinasie in Manie se gesig, jy weet wat ek hou daarvan.
Great stuff, thank you guys.
Sure.
Thanks, Jess. Thanks,